Paltrocast now with Darren Paltrowitz. Get ready to listen to your favorite artists. The Paltrocast is starting real soon. New interviews, no auto-tune. The Paltrocast now. It's the Paltrocast now. It's the Paltrocast now.
Paltrocast.
Thank you for checking out episode number 57 of the Paltrocast with Darren Paltrowitz. On this episode, I spoke with 3 different people in the entertainment world who all have a lot going on, even in the midst of the current, still ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And that's Dale Stewart from the band Seether, actress, entrepreneur, athlete, etc. Natalie Eva Marie, and Megadeth founder Dave Mustaine. First up is my interview with Dale Stewart from the band Seether. Dale is one of the founding members of Seether, a band that has been at it at a high level for over 20 years now, meaning that when Seether performs live in concert, pretty much every song on that set list was played on the radio with some sort of charting hit. The band has not slowed down one bit. The latest album from the band, and I do not speak Latin, so pardon the pronunciation, is Si Vis Pacem Para Bellum. Spanish I'm okay at, some Japanese, definitely not Latin. But Dale was a pleasure to speak with. This new album came out in late August through Fantasy Records. We spoke about that. We spoke about his life in Georgia. Even though Seether is thought of as being a band from South Africa, Dale lives in Georgia. Also got some recommendations about shows to watch and all that. Great guy. Hope to talk with him again soon. Going good for you today?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Getting ready for the album to come out.
Right,
So,
right.
Exciting times.
When did you actually finish the album? Sometimes you hear, oh, well, it was mastered a year ago and we've been sitting around. And other times you hear, nah, we had the release date. We just had to meet the deadline.
It's been in the can for a while. We finished it up sort of late February, early March. But then, of course, the COVID thing, went down. So it just kind of screwed up all the plans. But, we decided to release it anyway. I think a lot of bands have opted to not release albums and just trying to hang on until they can go out and tour and hit the road again. But we wanted it out, man. We wanted people to hear it. We're proud of it. We think it turned out well, and we can't wait for it to get out there, get in people's ears.
When Seether gets into the studio these days, are all the songs done, or does some of it actually get written in the middle of the sessions?
Everything's pretty much done. It's just kind of a streamlined way of doing it. Studio time costs a lot of money.
Right.
So, if we can minimize that cost, why not? We've done it before where, you spend, if not weeks, months in a studio and, honing songs and, trying to get everything in place, and it just adds up quick, man. So a lot of that stuff you can do beforehand. You can do at home, or and with the internet now, we can send music back and forth, and so everyone's got their parts down. So when we go in studio, it's very much just tracking the song. So that's why we'll do a whole album in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, drums, everything. And then, the technology helps too, with, things like Pro Tools. And, I'd like to think we're good studio players too. We've been doing it a long time. But it's always nice to play through a song and like, oh yeah, I messed that part up, just drop me in the chorus, cool, okay. And then you go from there. And, instead of trying to do the whole thing through, so you don't just splash too much tape and all that kind of stuff from the old days. But so between the technology and just doing your homework and hopefully not sucking, we can knock it out pretty quick.
The old days, speaking of the old days, it used to be you lay down the drums first, and then you do like every song's drum tracks with scratch vocals and all that. And now it's kind of changed for most bands where you just track everything and then you see what needs to be fixed later. Or do you do it actually the old way where the drums get done first?
Yeah, we still do it old school. We'll go through, do the drum tracks. Either we'll jam along with Johnny as a band, or sometimes, if the demos are solid, we'll just have a version of that without drums, so you can play along with that. And then we start layering everything on top of that: guitar, bass, and then leads and overdubs and things, and then
sure.
Vocals. Sean usually doesn't have his lyrics all the way done. It's he's always sitting there with his little notepad scribbling, and he'll literally finish the vocals like a minute or two before he sings them. He's like, okay, good to go, let's get in there.
Wow. So
yeah,
I'm surprised it's still like that. That's really cool to hear. That it's exciting,
right? Yeah, it's like here's a general idea, but he doesn't like finish them and finish the song and then, okay, I'm ready. So that's a lot of times the vocals get done right towards the end of the thing. So but it's fun, man. It's fun to watch the song kind of come together, and as the layers stack up, and just how it changes, and just how it builds, and gets more powerful, and it's cool. It's a fun process.
Do you remember which song you tracked first from the new album in the studio, or at least finished?
I don't remember. I don't. It was a long time ago. Because we started in December with drums, and then break for Christmas, and then came back in January. So yeah, I've no idea. It all kind of bleeds together, I guess.
I can imagine with Seether, after all this time, when you have a new album that says, let's say, has 12 songs, did you write 14 songs for it, or were there like 40 songs written and you pared them down?
Yeah, probably 40 or maybe even more, just rough ideas. Because not all ideas are created equal, I guess. So the good ones kind of, the good ones rise to the top, and then those are the ones we pick, or those are the ones that make it into full songs. And then you've got to whittle that 15, 16 songs down to the 12 that are going to make the album. And that's kind of the hardest part, is because you grow to love these songs and they really mean something to you, and then it's like, okay, well, let's pick these ones that aren't going to make it. It's like kicking eggs out of the nest. It's it sucks. It's a hard thing to do, but we'll pick ours as the band, our favorites, and then we'll have management put their opinion in, and see what those guys think, and see which ones they think should go on, and then the label has their say. And so, because we respect these guys' opinions. When you're so close to the music, it's hard to take a step back and objectively sort of look at these songs and see what's going to be best. And like picking singles too, we don't always know as the band, because we know what we like, but it's a bit of a skewed interpretation maybe. But yeah, that's we make a list and see which gets the most votes, basically, and that's kind of what dictates the final album.
I appreciate that answer. That's very honest, and also like a sign of the times. And speaking of all that, Seether is in this just very interesting career position where, forgetting the fact of COVID and the world being on pause, you guys are in the position where you can do your 20th anniversary tour. You can go, well, we're going to only do the songs on the first 2 albums. Like, you've got, if you're going to play 15 songs in a night, probably 15 of them were charting singles. Like, you could be a greatest hits band at this point in your career if you wanted to be. I'm curious, when this started to feel like a career and you didn't worry so much, like, oh man, is there going to be a label that wants to put out the next record?
I'd say probably maybe probably about 10 years ago or so. You know, it's because you're right. You know, before that, you don't really know. You know, we've had so many friends and bands and you know, just bands that we're fans of that have kind of come and gone. You know, in the 20 something years we've been doing this. So your place in this industry isn't guaranteed. You know, you really have to work at it and
right.
You know, not take anything for granted. But I'd say, yeah, maybe for the last 10 or 12 years, I think we've been in a place where, you know, we felt secure. You know, our fans have been awesome, and you know, they really support us in everything we do. You know, so we know if we release an album, it's gonna sell. Radio's been great to us too. You know, we know if we put out a single, you know, they're gonna at least, you know, give it a look and you know, hopefully, you know, if they like it, you know, give it a spin or a couple spins. But yeah, it is nice to be in that position because it, you know, I do feel more secure than when you're starting out. Like, you don't know if
right.
you don't know if the next album's going to go, if the label's going to drop you, and then, you know,
yeah,
it's almost getting to the point now where, you know, I don't know, it's yeah, I guess, you know, we could be the sort of greatest hits band, but we still, there's so much we still want to do. You know, we love this. We love making music. We still want to release new music, and you know, as long as people keep listening and coming to shows, you know, we'll keep doing that. And you know, we do play a lot of the old songs, you know, because a lot of people want to hear those songs. But
sure.
But it does get tricky after a while because you're like, okay, we playing the show tonight. We have an hour and 15 minutes. And then it's almost a case of like, okay, well, what aren't we going to play? Because, you know, people want to hear the singles. They want to sing along with the songs they know.
What aren't we going to play? That might be the quote of the day. That's an interesting.
So what singles are we going to leave off the set, kind of thing?
Yeah.
So you know, come up with a set becomes a little tricky. So, but I mean, it's a good problem to have. So
it's a great problem, and I think it's also of note that you guys, being around for so long at such a high level, have survived so many different trends, so many different labels. There was the people going, oh, they sound like Nirvana. Oh, they sound like nu metal. Oh, they sound like the grunge revival. I have to imagine at a certain point you can kind of pat yourself on the back and be like, we were right. We stuck to our guns. And the critics who didn't like us immediately, they were wrong.
Yeah, it is cool that, you know, we're still here doing this. Yeah, because there's always a mean critic that, you know, doesn't, you know, appreciate you or thinks you're not cool, or, you know. But I feel like those people are usually following some sort of trend. And, you know, we've just been a band, you know, we just do our thing, man. Like we've never felt the need to like follow a trend or try and fit in with a thing. And while we've been doing this, you know, there were so many trends, you know, when we started out, you know, the nu metal thing was like really big. And then after that, it was like the pop punk thing got really big. And then like emo got really big, and then like screamo. And then, you know, I don't know, there's the weird, like, you know, guys with little mustaches and the banjos. I don't even know what you call that, you know, then that stuff got big, you know. So, and we're just like, hey man, we're just going to do what we do. You know, we're not going to try and be these chameleons and try and fit into whatever trend is, you know, the trend du jour, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we just do our thing, and hopefully people like it. But I think people appreciate that because, you know what you're going to get, you know, and we're sincere in what we do. You know, we're not pretending to be these guys or being into this or you know, dressing a different way when it's cool to do so. And it's just what you see is what you get, man. We just 4 guys who like to make noise and, you know, have some drinks and make some, you know, loud rock music.
And well done on that end. Now, you personally, anytime I speak to somebody in a hard rock band that's over the age of, say, 36, I find that Kiss and Van Halen were instrumental in their musical development. Were they in your case? I can't tell.
Not in my case, not so much, but Johnny and Corey definitely. No, I don't know. I'm 40, so I definitely fall within that age bracket. But I don't know if it's a result of growing up in South Africa, maybe, where I guess Kiss was fairly big. Van Halen a little bit less so.
Mm-hmm.
The bands that really spoke to me were like AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and Metallica, and those were bands that I really loved. Really made me want to pick up a guitar and learn to play it. Like, I thought Slash was the coolest dude on the planet, and I mean, he was. He still is. He's up there, on the list.
Yeah.
And it's made me want to pick up a guitar and do that and learn how to play. And never thought that it would come to this, but it's awesome. But yeah, those are really the bands that really got me into music. And you just start thinking about it a little differently, because before that you kind of listen to your parents' music around the house, and fortunately they listen to great music, so that I came from a good foundation of Bob Seger and Jim Croce and Gordon Lightfoot and Brian Ferry, Roxy music, and Chris Rea, and all this cool like rock stuff, and Elton John, and so I grew up listening to awesome music that I still love and listen to. But then when I started listening to the noisy, the whiny Guns N' Roses stuff, my parents were like, "What is this crap?"
Hey,
that's how it was cool, because if the old people don't like it, it's got to be cool, right?
Your parents listened to much cooler music than mine did. Mine were too much country music. But wrapping up to the last 2-3 questions here. What's life like for you when you're not touring? I don't know much about Seether besides they make great hard rock music. They're from South Africa. You'll see them on the road in a couple of months, COVID aside. What else is there for you that we should know about you?
Yeah, we're not like a big social media band in terms of like, hey, this is what I had for breakfast. I'm about to go number 2. Like, catch you later. But yeah, it's I think I'm painfully sort of normal when I'm home. My wife and I live in a really cool little community in Savannah, Georgia, and we have our little house on the little lake over there, and our neighbors are super cool. So we do a lot of like community stuff, and we're always hanging out with neighbors and things. And I do a lot of fishing. That's probably my main hobby when I'm not touring is going out fishing. So that's something I really enjoy. I enjoy hunting as well, and then cooking whatever I harvest. I won't kill anything in vain. If something died, I'm going to use every last bit of it. So I enjoy cooking, and it's pretty much what I do when I'm home. It's I'm kind of an honorary redneck, I guess.
Has Seether ever played that Savannah Music Festival?
No, we've never played in Savannah at all. We've played Hilton Head, which is just north, just across the border into South Carolina, but only about 45 minutes, from Savannah. So we've played there. For some reason, never in Savannah. And I mean, I recently moved there about 3 years ago, so it would be cool. It would be cool to play there. I'm not sure of the venue we'd play, but it'd be cool. We've made a lot of new friends there, so it'd be fun to do a show, sort of a hometown show.
Sure. Before I ask my closer, any TV or film recommendations that you could pass along? Because like everybody, you've been home a lot these last few months, and odds are you watched a lot of Netflix or Hulu or something like that.
I haven't been watching crazy amounts of Netflix. I did watch a movie the other day with Daniel Radcliffe. I forget what it's called, but he's sort of like an internet troll kid, and then he like pisses off the wrong guy, and then he wakes up and they've like bolted these 2 guns to his hands, and there's this sort of death game that goes on, and it's filmed by drones, and it's like this futuristic little sci-fi movie. And
Harry Potter. Wow.
Yeah, Harry Potter, and he was really good, and he puts on this American accent. I'm like, that's actually kind of believable. But it was kind of funny. He's running around in his PJs. He's got these guns, and this assassin girl's trying to kill him, and because it's part of this death game, kill or be killed, and just this weird movie. I don't even know how we stumbled on it, but I watched that, and but I haven't been watching much. I need to catch up on Ozark. That's a show I really enjoy. But a lot of the time, my wife and I end up watching just horrible reality TV. There's a show called 90
It's normal.
90 Day Fiance is a show. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yes.
People, they get, they come over on a K-1 visa to America, and then they have 90 days to either get married or they have to go back home. So, and half the time it's just so clearly like,
You're a
these
man
dudes
of
doing
high
it for a
taste
visa.
and low taste. Exactly.
Yeah. Some people are legitimately in love, and some of them it's just so blatant, just like a immigration fraud situation. But we I don't know, I just get a kick out of that. Maybe because I'm an immigrant myself. Didn't marry to become one, but it's just funny, and you just watch these train wrecks and Big Brother started again, so that's fun. But I don't know, for some reason I end up watching this horrible reality TV and just getting a kick out of it. Maybe because it's just not serious. It's a little goofy, kind of make fun of people, and
Well,
we call it a Schadenfreude Sunday. When 90 Day Fiance comes on, we just make fun of these people just making horrible life decisions.
Exactly. And the closer, Dale, any last words for the kids?
Yeah, I guess just thanks for listening. Sorry we haven't been able to play. We really wanted to. We were supposed to be on the road at this very moment, so it's a little frustrating not to be able to come out and play. But thanks for listening and supporting us. And as soon as they give us the okay, we're going to be out there, man. Like we're a live band. It's what we do. It's what we love. Playing for the fans and meeting fans, and touring. And so yeah, as soon as this madness ends, we're going to be out there, and we're going to be playing shows, and we look forward to seeing everyone. I think 2021 is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of tours. All the bands are going to be out, and I think all the fans are going to be going to as many shows just to make up for lost time. So yeah, look forward to it.
Looking forward to seeing you in New York when this is all over. Thank you so much for your time. Congrats on the new record, and
thank you very much.
Around.
See you, man.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you.
Paltrocast.
Next up is my interview with Natalie Eva Marie. If you are a wrestling fan, a WWE fan, a Total Divas fan, etc., you probably know her as just Eva Marie. But wrestling, even though she's still involved with WWE, is just one facet of what she does. She's an actress, she's a social media influencer, especially within the fitness realm. She has some different products on the market, etc. When I spoke with Natalie Eva Marie, she was promoting a new movie with Bruce Willis called Hard Kill. And then about a week later, I was asked if I wanted to write about an energy drink called Rain Total Body Fuel. And the company who sent me that pitch told me about their face of the company, Natalie Eva Marie. You put two and two together and go, wow, she really has a lot going on. Now, we didn't talk about Rain Total Body Fuel within this interview. We did within an interview I taped after the fact. But the key is that she's got a lot going on. She's a very positive person. There's a lot about her that you probably don't know, even if you are a big WWE or Total Divas fan. Think you're going to enjoy this one. Natalie, how's it going there today?
Really good. How are you?
Great. Thank you very much. Hard Kill is the new movie. Now, I've seen the trailer and all that, but when did you actually film it? Because sometimes movies are made, 2 years before they come out.
Right. We actually filmed it in January, and we were lucky because we ended up wrapping like 2 weeks before everything was getting kind of shut down.
Wow. Looking at the trailer, it's a cool group of people that are coming together to fight a problem, almost like the Expendables. And I wonder, is there a chance that there could be a Hard Kill 2?
Ooh, I mean, I would be so for it if there is a Hard Kill 2. I like the way you're thinking. That'd be amazing. I mean, we need to reach out. I need to talk to the writers and directors right now and be like, yo, where's our Hard Kill 2?
Well, let's hope that happens. Is this the first time you've been in a movie or any kind of project where you had blue hair?
Yes, it is. So this is the first Yeah, it is. This is the first project, especially on screen, where I have, well, technically it's purple, but it probably looks blue to you. So I'll take it. Blue or purple.
I
Okay.
am colorblind, full disclosure, but a couple of years ago, I had the pleasure of doing Q&A over email with you when you were promoting Testarossa. Is that still in the works?
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. Testarossa, it is. It's actually, people can get it. It's my extension line with Bellamy hair. And that was when I was that fire red from a WWE character. So people can actually purchase it now.
Was that your first venture or business where you were taking the lead?
You know what? It was. I believe that was my first time going and doing a Natalie Eva Marie line product. So that was the first, which makes sense because it is, I mean, I'm still messing with my hair to this day. I'm pink now, so makes sense.
Sure. It's really hard to define you at this point because you got a big movie like Hard Kill. People who look through your IMDb page will see that you have other projects coming soon. There's the Now This original series that you're hosting. When we go through your Instagram, we see you leading workouts and all that. How do you like to be thought of?
That is such a good question. I think that I've never been asked that question. Is how do I want to be kind of, I don't know. I guess I'm so stuck on superstar. I feel like a superstar works because it kind of, you can't put me in a box. I like to do everything, and I like to be a superstar at everything that I do. So whether that's a movie star, whether that's a TV star, or WWE superstar, you know. So I'm good with Natalie Eva Marie, the superstar.
Fair enough, superstar. Well, when I look at your career path, you've done things in kind of the opposite order that most people do it. They usually are a movie star, then they kind of go down to TV, then they go down to WWE and guest appearances, and you kind of did it the reverse kind of way. How do you feel about that?
I feel like super lucky, super blessed, because WWE is where the heart is. That is my family. That is my number one. And, you know, I'm fortunate enough to have started there. And I feel like it prepared me for everything else because, you know, these guys, you're on the road 290 days out of the year. You have to be able to handle all the physicality. And then on top of that, you have to be able to perform live, build your character. And if you're able to do that, then you are prepared for everything else, because these guys are just flat out studs. So I got really lucky because I started there first. And then I was able to take that to TV, to film, and all of my other endeavors and knock that out of the park because I was so well prepared from just getting embedded in me the work ethic that all these guys and all these superstars have to have. They are the best in the world at what they do, and I don't think they get enough credit.
Well, looking at Hard Kill, you show your toughness and all that. I would have to assume that your training with WWE feeds directly into all that, the stunt coordination and the martial arts or the fighting technique.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm definitely, anything action-wise, I absolutely just kind of, you know, I seem to get drawn to. And then for this specific film, because of the weaponry and stuff like that, and because I have such a just love and respect for our armed forces. My brother-in-law currently is serving in the Army right now, and then my dad, you know, was a Marine and a Vietnam vet. So I took it to a whole nother level and did my own weapon training with the best in the world, ex-Delta Force. Shout out to James, and took that on head on because I wanted to be able to bring the real deal to the screen. And make those guys proud. So, and my husband loved that part, though. That's for sure, because he was all about it, being able to do the weapon training right alongside me.
Got it. Around how many days were you on set for Hard Kill?
For Hard Kill, I was on set for 2 months, or a month and a half, maybe.
Wow, so that is a proper studio film and all that. Was it entirely filmed in the same place?
It was. We filmed it in Ohio. And we got so lucky. I'm so lucky because we wrapped just in the nick of time. That would have been definitely a buzz kill, not a hard kill, if we got shut down right before we were wrapped.
Right. And as I mentioned before, people who look at your IMDb page see that there's other projects coming from you. There's Action Number One and Paradise City. Paradise City looks like a very interesting musical project with some great musicians in there. Do either of those have release dates?
So Paradise City, I'm so excited for everybody to see. And right now, I believe it's shooting for fall of 2020. So this fall. And hopefully it does. I get a release actual date, but honestly, because of everything that's going on, I'm not quite sure what that date is. I'm just hoping that it is this fall, because I think that the audience would really love this show, because there's just so many amazing talent from all different kind of genres, and we're all on one screen together. So being able to see us kind of interact and intertwine in this kind of rock and roll music industry vibe would be something that I think would be a nice treat.
Do we see you sing on any level or see you perform besides acting it?
God, no, you do not see me sing. No, but you will see me. I play opposite of Bella Thorne, and you'll see me pulling some strings. That's for sure.
Cool. Now, this is a musical project that we're talking about, and of course, fitness and workouts, it's what you do. How important is music for staying in shape for you?
It's really important. It's kind of, health is wealth. I say that all the time, especially for anybody that has watched Total Divas, just seeing like my family and my dad's journey with his health. And it's just something that my husband and we incorporate, and we have turned it into our NemFit kind of online business, so that people can actually see my daily workouts, my workout of the day, and do it right there at home. Plus, I know a lot of people not being able to get into gyms or thinking that they need, the big squat racks or leg presses. It was important for us to create programs that people can do strictly just body weight. You could do that in your garage. You could do it in your backyard. You could do it in your room. And we wanted to provide that for the beginner, the intermediate, and the advanced guy that follows my journey and wants to see what I do on a daily basis in the gym. So now they can.
That's right. It looks like you're always changing up your workout. Was DDP yoga, or rather DDPY, ever part of that flow?
You know what? I have yet to get into it, but I definitely want to, because I've heard nothing but good things. And it's really important to, your flexibility, your range of motion is so important, especially as you get older. So I think that'll be my next kind of dive in, is into his yoga for sure.
And I asked you before how you like to be thought of, and it sounds like it's going to be an evolving thing where you're always working on great different projects. Is there an ultimate goal that you're working towards that you go, I'm not a success until I reach this? Or are you just happy with where you're at?
I think that's the thing. I think that's where don't get complacent. I mean, I obviously am definitely the type, like, don't put me in a box, because I want to do so many different things. Like you had, mentioned, yes, I'm a WWE. I started wrestling, but then I went into movies, then I went into TV, then I went into, having my own businesses, being an entrepreneur and things of that nature. Like, you don't have to be one kind of facet in life, and I want to be multiple things. So it's kind of like an evolution and a continuing journey. So I hope that I end up this global sensation, but I definitely don't think that there'll be a point where I'm like, okay, I made it, I can relax, because that's usually the danger zone. You got to keep on going.
A lot of people who mention that about don't put me in a box, it seems to come from a place of anger, but I don't get that at all from you. It doesn't sound like you're trying to show anybody up or prove anybody wrong.
No, I just love so many different things. Yeah, it definitely doesn't come from a place of anger whatsoever. You're right. It's more along the lines of, I think, from being just a young kid and being involved in sports and just being the youngest of all boys. It just kind of molded me into who I am now. And I love being, with the hair color and the glam and the makeup. I love that part. But then I also love getting down and dirty. I love getting in the gym, banging out a workout. But then I love going on and acting a whole nother character on a movie or a TV project. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I love doing so many different things. And that's why I want to constantly have my hand in all of those things that I love. And I love to learn and continue to grow and evolve and change. There's nothing wrong with changing. People have a fear of changing their mind or changing their direction. If you don't like something or if you don't want to do something, it's time to bust it right. Don't quit making that left turn if it's not there for you. And that's okay. So it's a journey and it's a process for sure.
Well, 2 quick questions and then you're free. And the first one is, like everybody, you've kind of been indoors more the last 6 months than probably ever in your life. Any TV recommendations that you can pass along?
Ooh, TV recommendations. What have I watched? First of all, I'm actually stunned in myself because this is a good accomplishment that I can brag about, because my husband's an avid reader. For the longest time, I've always said, I need to read more. I want to read more, yada, yada, yada. A lot of things never happened. I didn't. Because we have been indoors for the last 6 months more than ever, I finally found an author, James Patterson, that I'm obsessed with, and I'm almost done with his entire Women's Murder Club series. So I highly suggest that for anybody that is looking for a book that they can't put down. I finished 17 out of the 20 in the last 4 months, which is a major W for me. That my husband's like super impressed and proud of. And so that's the book thing. For TV wise, I'm really into the new Raw Underground right now. So, but that's towards obviously WWE.
Right.
Section. The Raw Underground definitely has a vibe to it that I'm feeling, but TV series, I think we've blown through Ozark was one, and all the Jack Ryans are amazing. And Anna, the Hannah. I think that was the most recent one that we watched.
Taste is all over the place in a very good way. My wife just gave me the nod about James Patterson. She's reading them all as well. So the closing question, which you've sort of answered, is any last words for the kids?
Never take no as an answer. You keep going. You believe in yourself full-heartedly. Don't believe the outside chaos, because trust and believe. There's going to be a lot of people telling you can't do something, or that you won't do something, you can't do something, you're not good enough at this or that. But ultimately, it comes down to you. You have the power, and don't let anybody take that power away from you.
Great. Well, I really appreciate your time. Congratulations on Hard Kill, and looking forward to Paradise City when it eventually comes out. Thanks for your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Paltrocast.
Last, but definitely not least, is my interview with Dave Mustaine, the founder and frontman of the legendary metal band Megadeth. But Megadeth is not all he does. Businesses aside, and martial arts aside, and family projects and all that aside, he's also the author of 2 books. The latest book is called Rust in Peace, the inside story of the Megadeth masterpiece. This one looks back at the album, which is, I believe, 30 years old now, and it is done with not just Dave Mustaine's perspective, but also those of other people in the room, in the band, famous fans, etc. I asked Dave a little bit about that, and then I also asked him about some things I was curious about, like Van Halen. David Lee Roth is mentioned pretty early into the book and all that. Dave was a little tired, to be honest. He was tracking a new Megadeth album while doing press for this book, and obviously I was not his only interview, but I definitely appreciated his time. Hope to speak to him again in the near future and all that. Thanks for listening. Dave, how's it going there today?
It's good. How are you?
Great. I can only imagine it's nonstop between a new record, the book, and all that. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty crazy hectic, but it's fun. Besides, all of the terrible things that are going on in life for most people with the pandemic and everything else that's going along with this right now, we've got a lot of things to be really grateful for. But I'll tell you what, if that wasn't happening right now, I would say that life is over the moon right now.
Right. Well, I appreciate that you have such a positive disposition, and I can't imagine it's like the most fun thing in the world to be looking back on an album like this, as great as Rust in Pieces. Like, you seem very much along the lines of a person who looks forward instead of backwards naturally.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I could be really glib about this and say all kinds of funny shit right now, but I mean, given the circumstances, I'll try and be as to the point as possible. And yeah, it was definitely a lot of stuff to be grateful for. A lot of stuff that we changed that made our lives better. A lot of stuff we lived through that almost killed us, and a lot of people that we were hanging out with that we thought was supposed to be part of our lives. And thank God we lived through getting away from them.
Right. I really do appreciate the format of this book. It's such an easy read because you get everybody's perspective. One thing I couldn't figure out, though, was how it was written in the sense that, did you give your commentary first and then everybody weighed in, or did you weigh in last on everything?
We kind of went along as the book took shape. You know, I talked with Joel regularly, and he spoke with a lot of the other contributors to the book, and we just started to piece everything together, and it was much like the Tower of Babel. It just continued to grow, and it's one of the things I thought was really funny is how the content changed. Not only in what it was, but how it was presented. Like, you're listening to one guy, and then a couple paragraphs later, same dude, totally contradicting himself. So that was really fun and very rewarding for me, because it shows you that some people forget that it's not the end of the world as they do. And the other thing is that, I'm not as bad as they make me out to be. And you can see that, where they say stuff, and then later on in the book they'll say something totally different, which I appreciate them telling the truth finally. I think it's great, because I wanted everybody to know, how truly talented those guys were. Because Chris Poland, as much as I don't really like the guy, he was a great guitar player, and I wanted to give him a shot when we did the 2004 reissues for Peace Cells and for Rust in Peace, and I wanted to put that song out on the Rust in Peace issue, and he was he got involved in a nuisance lawsuit, I think it was, and we just ended our friendship, and I thought, God, that was such a waste, because there was a little teeny mountain that was right out by where we live, and I said, what, I could have just as soon bought that piece of dirt there than sell Chris's friendship, and I'm so bummed that this happened, so I thought it would have been terrific to have him on the record, let people see, hey, this sounds like Marty Friedman. No, Marty Friedman sounded like this, because Chris played it first.
He sounds, to use a kind of a Kiss analogy, like the Vinnie Vincent of Megadeth, where you guys admire his talent and realize his influence, but, it doesn't work out on a personal level.
Oh, I don't know about that, because I don't know anything about Vinnie or those guys.
Got it. Failed topic right there. But
yeah.
But one of the things that I really admire about Megadeth, and you in general, is you guys embraced the internet before just about any other hard rock band. Didn't you have a website as early as 1995?
Nope, it was 94. It's October 31st, 1994.
Wow. So does that mean that you had people working for you that were super pro internet, or were you into the internet that early?
Both, and more so the former than the latter.
Does that mean that these days you're still super into the internet and are aware of memes, or did you get sick of it?
I got kind of sick of it. I've backed out of the whole thing. It's kind of like, you know, I don't know, backing out of a car crash. In the beginning, it's really fun. It's great to talk to everybody, but then you realize a couple of months after that you've got everything that's private and personal in the world up on a cloud somewhere. And, I prefer having a little bit of privacy in my life right now. I don't want everybody to know what I ate and what's going through my intestines tonight. That's personal and private.
Of course. Well, back to the book and that era. The movie, The Decline of Western Civilization, which gets referenced pretty early into the book, I love that movie. And you guys kind of come across as the voice of reason in the whole movie. Do you look back at it fondly in any way? Because I know it was not a great time in your life when it was made.
Yeah. Was that a question or a statement?
Oh, I'm asking if you look back on it fondly.
Did I look back on it fondly? I liked making it because I think that Penelope's always been really terrific to me, and I thought that the song was pretty cool because we just made that on the spot. They asked, could we do this song for the movie, and we just basically said, yeah, sure, Tom, we'll do it. Tom Wally was the guy from Interscope that wanted us to do it, and so he comes into the studio after I got done writing it, and he said, it needs to be more evil, and I said, really? I said, what do you mean more evil? And he goes, just more evil, and I said, okay, so I changed the lyrics, and I said, my only friend is a goat with 666 between his horns, and I figured, man, if that ain't fucking heavy, I don't know what is. And then, because the movie was supposed to be called Bill and Ted Go to Hell, right? And it wasn't called Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. It was called They Go to Hell. So I thought, great, I'll call the song Go to Hell. That's pretty heavy. And the next thing I know, they changed the movie title to Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and I thought, oh, this is just crap. So I was stuck with the song, a different title, and that was a pretty fucked up time. Yeah.
Got it. Sorry to dredge that all up.
Oh, it's okay.
And you, of course, have a lot of ventures outside of Megadeth and outside of this book. There's the cruise, there's your wine, there's your beer. Was it this plan all along to be that diversified?
No, I don't think so. I think what happened is we just got more and more successful and blessed with the things that we did. Somebody would say, hey, I've got something for you. I made this thing for you. I did that. And, my family is made up of entrepreneurs and their mind's always spinning. So if something comes along like that, they'll ask the person, hey, what do you think about this? And, for example, one of my big endorsements, my wife negotiated that. One of our beverage deals, our kids did that. So, they're all really settled into the music business and into working with the people that we work with. So I love that too, because there's a lot of books that they have their families in them, and they talk about how they're successful because their family's involved in their business.
And you've had Elektra perform with you live and in the studio and all that. Do you foresee her being a full-time musician in the future?
Well, that's something you got to talk to her about, because she's, I don't know, I think she's planning on getting married soon, so I'm not sure what she's planning on doing.
And then back to the cruise that I mentioned that you had. Were you ever on a cruise before planning this?
No. On a cruise planning to play? No.
So when it comes to vacations, are you the kind of person that takes them very quietly, or you just stay home because you're used to traveling?
I like to be home and quiet. Be nice to have some quiet, cold drinks and some salt water to go stick your feet in the water.
Because where I was going with that is, When I listen to old interviews with you, the sense of humor that you have is very apparent. You're a funny guy that not everybody realizes is a funny guy. The interview you did with Jay Moore kind of hinted to all that. But I was curious what you do to mellow out when you're not making music or doing your business ventures.
What I do to mellow out? I drink primo beer, brother.
Sure.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I do all kinds of things. We have really great pets that I enjoy spending time with. My wife and children are great to hang around with because my kids are grown-ups now. Getting ready to release this new record's been quite an experience. I've been watching Justice and Elektra grow, and their little opinions and stuff matters. So when they say something, I want to make sure to pay attention to them. But then I also got to remember, they're little people, and sometimes, they say something, and it's not going to be what I want to hear. So I got to also remember to be kind when I listen to what they say, and if it makes me mad, not to chop their heads off.
Well, 3 quick questions, if you don't mind, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
Okay, the first one is, people who really follow the history of Megadeth know that you and Dave Ellefson, or Jr. rather, met because of him playing Running with the Devil. Was Van Halen a big influence on you otherwise, or is that the only thing of theirs that had a role in your life?
Van Halen was not an influence in my life. I loved the whole concept of the band. I thought it was really cool. I thought that he was a great player, and that's about it. I thought that David Lee Roth had a lot of difficulty singing, but he was an amazing frontman, and I think that kind of came from him copying Jim Dandy from Black Oak, Arkansas. And I can't say that's for sure, but whenever I see any pictures of Jim Dandy or anything like that, a friend of mine was a huge Black Oak, Arkansas fan, and whenever he would come over and play Black Oak, Arkansas, I would look at the picture on the album, and I would think, fuck, that looks like the dude from Van Halen. And go figure, there he is.
That's an interesting point that I've heard people make before. The second question is, you've been home a lot more the past, year or so, getting better with your health, and of course COVID, the pandemic and all that. I assume you had to have watched more TV than usual. Do you have a film or a TV show that you could recommend to people seeing, hearing, or reading this?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of shows that are good, but I'm not really sure. I mean, I've got my favorite movies and shit like that, but I don't know that anything's going to top my favorite movies. Like, I love Tombstone and Peaky Blinders. I thought was great, and some of these other shows, but it doesn't necessarily mean people are going to love them just because I like them.
Okay, and the closer, Dave, any last words for the kids?
Sure. Where are you located out of?
Long Island, New York?
Long Island.
Exactly.
You're not close to Montauk?
We're not close to Montauk, but Joan Jett lives on my street, if that helps.
Oh, well, tell her I said hello and I love her.
Paltrocast.
Thanks for checking out the Paltrocast with Darren Paltrowitz, produced by V13 Media. Theme song by Steve Schiltz. Audio mixing by Mark Piro. Until next time, have a great Shabbos.
Paltrocast.